Girls are not your friend, D. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, Mom and Steve wanted us to send it to them, so. I did already. Oh, you did?
You hear a little animal noise that was just naturally ambient environment.
You're out in the middle of nowhere, dude. That's so fucking stupid. So goofy. Oh, whatever. You know
I
what,
told
dude?
my family, it's like, you probably wouldn't have done that if we hadn't had that privacy, though.
If if this whole shit just flops, I don't regret a single thing.
No.
It was retarded. It was fun. We had to get back into the swing of it. Let's just go. You know what I mean?
I can't see how it would flop.
Well, we'll see. You know that the only thing that worries me is that the channel's been dormant for a long time. But if we can wake it back
It
up,
was for Alien too, and that
That's
got
true.
270,000 views
That's true.
over first few months. Or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if the guys actually put ads on this,
Ads on what?
like push it as an ad, like they did with Hellraiser.
Oh, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna let it get its
Some
own
natural
head of
momentum.
steam, and then you throw it out. So yeah, for sure. Thank you for bringing up your sleep apnea issues. Got me talking to my wife about it. She had her first night on CPAP last night. And she woke up this morning an entirely different person. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not even kidding, man. For me, it was like, you know, there were two steps up for me that pulled me out of like, just like what I honestly, I'm not trying to be overly like dramatic, but like a death spiral. Just like I was heading down. New C4C was gas. Thank you, homie. Appreciate that you guys went and watched and stuff. I did a lot of work on that. Amelia did even more. So don't you think the Onion Nuggets version for members is going to cannibalize that channel? Nope. No, the members are the only ones that can get it. You're talking about membership. Yeah, I mean, we're not looking to. That's the thing is we had to make a decision, right? And I'll even talk to you guys about this. I'll talk to you openly about this decision because it's, you know, it's a wild one. When it came time to decide, like, how are we going to do C for C? My original thought process was let's bring it into the bundle, right? Let's just have people go and become Onion Nuggets members, and then they'll get the C for C stuff and everything else. But I had a thought, and I was like, you know, for what it's worth, Cinema for Cynics has been a pretty apolitical channel. It isn't about politics. It isn't about Trump. It isn't, you know what I mean? And pretty much a lot of the stuff that we put out otherwise is, do we want to mix that? Or do we want to, you know what I mean, build something up a little bit that's connected but outside? And we decided to go with the connected but outside. And I think that's the right thing. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hoping for maybe like one more week of fall, but winter is here. Hey, thanks, Phoebes. I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys. Most of the praise goes to Amelia. Um, you know what I mean? And she's like an unsung hero on this because her fingerprints and influences are all over it. And she worked so hard, guys. I don't even want to tell you. We were really pushing to get this out, um, in time for the Twilight movies to be re-released, because I have a feeling people are going to be, the interest. Oh my God. And she was just pulling all-nighters. You know what I mean? It was fucked. But all for the best. Oh, she'll hear your praise. No worries about that. Hey, thanks, Dragoon. She drew on my 6-pack for me. I think she did an amazing job. Yep, show tonight. Hopefully she'll pop on my stream at some point so I can heap my praises on her. Yeah, there you go. So is she a super fan of Twilight? I wouldn't say a super fan, but she was the target audience for Twilight. She was right in the age range that Twilight was meant to, you know what I mean? Yeah, thank you, Coyote. I appreciate you, man. Hey, if the people that already watch me like it, that's a success in my mind. So cheers to that. Leaving for the meetup tomorrow. I won't be. I'm flying out of here on Halloween. So Halloween night, I will be on the jet. Road tripping it. Yeah. I had no idea about the imprinting thing. Me neither, bro. When that happened in the movie, I was like, oh, because Jacob thinks he's trying to imprint on Bella for a little while. I didn't even cover it in the thing because it's so fucking convoluted. I didn't even know how to talk about it. But what it turns out is it's like he isn't imprinting on Bella. He's imprinting on her egg in her ovary that is future Renesmee. I don't even fucking know, bro. So it's weirder. It's actually weirder than presented. But I looked at Amelia, who has read the books, seen all the movies, she knows the lore and shit, right? And I go oh, so imprinting isn't romantic. It's like, you're my best friend, I'll protect you always. And she looked at me and she was like, no, it's romantic. And I was like, well, because she was like, it's romance. And I was like, oh. Yikes. Boo. Ugh. My spouse is a big fan of the Twilight books, so I was unlucky enough to know what imprinting was. Yeah. Yeah. Nightmarish is what it is. Dougie. Yeah, Doug. I'll go get some peanuts if you come get me a visit. The author is Mormon. Yeah, you know what I mean? I played with the idea of tearing it apart from a religious critique angle, and I was like, why? It sucks for the same reasons, whether it's a religious critique or not, So I mention it, but I decided not to make this an atheist tears apart a piece of Mormon propaganda type shit, you know. But yeah, her Mormonness definitely comes through in a number of them. Oh no, it's not tomorrow. I'm flying out on Halloween, literally on Halloween day. So I got a few days left, but I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, it sucks. I hate flying, and this is gonna be one of the longest flights that I've ever been on, so it's really gonna be bad. But once I'm there, I'm there. You know, the one thing that I'm kind of wishing I'd done is maybe I should have flown in on the 30th. Maybe the 30th, but I don't know, man. Fuck it. Whatever. What's past is past. Where are you flying to? We are going to Clifton, New Jersey. Well, I'm flying into Newark, and then driving to Clifton, which is 30 minutes away, and then Clifton, New Jersey. We're doing a meetup, so I'm doing a fan meetup in Clifton, New Jersey. Yeah. Yeah, that is something too that got brought up during the conceptual phases and while I was writing. One of the things that TJ said was like, you know, this isn't written in the same voice that you wrote Hellraiser and stuff in. And he said that's not a bad thing. It's just you can tell that you're in a different place now. And he was like, you know, I like that, but I think you should try and keep that kind of dry delivery at the beginning. That was one of his pieces of feedback because, yeah, man, you know, I'm just not in the same spot. Joker was filmed in Newark, except for isn't that famous set of stairs that I'm sure everybody that lives nearby hates now because every stupid fucking TikToker does the Joker walk down them? Isn't that like in Brooklyn or something? Harlem or Brooklyn or some shit, right? Yeah. Flying into Newark and then flying out of Kennedy. Might be most of the streets are in Newark because the director thought it was a dump. Yeah, no, I'm not going to Newark. I'm going to Clifton, but yeah. I'm flying into Newark. That's just the closest airport to where I'm going. You know, I'm so nervous. I don't want to fly. I don't like to fly. Man, I got all kinds of shit coming up. All kinds of bullshit. No, see, that's the thing, dude. It is so lame that people go down those stairs and bother the people that live in that fucking neighborhood. I would never want to do that. You still drink on a plane? Yes. Yes. I don't know how advisable it's gonna be for me to drink on a plane, but you can. The Bada Bing is still there. It's not called the Bada Bing, obviously, but yes, as far as I understand, the Bada Bing is still there. Hey, Paul, just watched the Uncensored Twilight video and I loved it. Seeing how hard you worked on it inspires me to take my art more seriously too. You're awesome. Thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know, if you wanted to do me a solid, head over to the public release and give that a like as well. Maybe even just let it play in the background so I get a view over there. You know what I'm talking about? It's out now, Tom. You can go right now to Cinema for Cynics. And when you're there, make sure you hit the bell thing if you haven't already. Because, yeah, stuff is going to be coming out on a regular clip there. So. I'm driving down to New Jersey on Halloween. My hotel's across from the Giants home stadium. Yeah, I don't know which hotel I'm in. I know I'm there in Clifton somewhere. I think I'm 10 or 15 minutes from the venue. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, the public version is, and I hate to do it, it's unfortunately censored. You know, you got to censor, bleep the potty words and, you know, not show some of the stuff. And I hate that, but that's just how YouTube is. Post the link. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, one of my mods wants to do that. That'd be really nice. I'll see if I can pin it. Yeah. Yep. Always an uncensored version for Onion Nugget members, patrons, and channel members over at Cinema for Cynics. There we go. Between Bella and Edward.
So how come Jacob Black gets to give you a gift and I don't?
Jacob and Bella seems, you guys hear that? I don't know, cute, normal.
The hole in my chest. Well, when I'm with Jake, it's like it's almost healed.
Won't stop. Don't worry, this is a Twilight movie to be feared. You hear this shit? While Bella is distracted by Jacob's 22 pack, native boys are bulking up and they're acting kind of culty.
He missed in school. Now all of a sudden he started following Sam around like a little puppy.
Jacob is scared until one day he isn't.
Sam's trying to help me.
He pushes Bella to remember a local legend he told her. Okay. Dude, that was crazy. That's got to be like some sort of YouTube bug or something. I guarantee you, this app had no idea what was going on there. Dude, there are these dumbass Q&A things now. I'm not going to click it again. I just need to click on... Okay, it's already pinned. We're good. So, yeah. Paul looks toasty. I am now. Dude, that one hoodie ain't enough. I have to go put on my fleece jacket over a hoodie. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Ribbit. 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 What the fuck, heard that? Yeah, I got a little croaker. I couldn't hear live Paul over Twilight Paul. It's so stupid. I don't know what the fuck was going on. What the fuck is Twilight? What are you calling the squirrel you've been feeding? Bro, I picked the most amazing name for him. Dougie. Because he's a Douglas squirrel. And then the other one that I feed, she's not quite, she's a little more skittish. I've called her Squirrely Girly. She's very pretty. She's very cute. And she just is a little more skittish than Douglas is. which is interesting because Douglas is less than half her size. But Douglas is irascible as fuck. Douglas chases off squirrels that are 3 times his size. So Dougie gets probably more nuts than anybody. Dougie, I got some peanut. I hear him chittering. Come on, Dougie. Oh, I see. No, that's Squirrely Girly. She's coming. Okay. Well, that's the first squirrel I've seen today. So Squirrely Girly just popped out of her little nest to my clicking. And I bet Douglas is probably not far behind. He lives up this tree. Dougie does. Wake up, lazy bones. I got a peanut. Do I need to have watched Twilight to understand your video on Twilight? I never had a girlfriend who dragged me to watch Twilight. No. I mean, it's a review from a guy who genuinely had never seen it and knew absolutely nothing about it. So it is perfect, actually, that you haven't seen it. I mean, I think it's actually designed to be good for people who have seen it and people who haven't. But I think it's particularly good for people who don't know much about it. Squirrely Girly. I got a peanut. I got a peanut. Dougie. Got peanut for you. Only seen up to New Moon and I understood it. Yeah. That's Squirrely. Squirrely Girly. She's very cute. And she's braver than any of the other big grays around here. Blackie, I have a black squirrel out here. Blackie won't even come near me. Like, Blackie don't care about no peanut. Dude, they changed some about the algorithm. Vert streams ain't doing what they used to. Oh, I know. That's why I said get in while you fit in. You know what I mean? You did the real smart thing, Phoebes, and you capitalized while it was hot, built yourself a nice little baseline channel, and now you're ready to move on. Yeah, and see, I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I don't really care about the numbers. You know, if it becomes pointless to do these vert streams, then I'll just flip it and do my landscapes again. But, you know, you capitalized on that shit. That's good shit. You know what I mean? I mean, even I did. You know, I got way more subscribers over here than I did before I started vert streaming, so. But yeah, they definitely tweaked that algorithm up a little bit. Although, I gotta tell you, I do think that, like, doing these more frequently affects how much they boost you. It's like I've noticed since I came back from my little hiatus, a couple of weeks or whatever it was, that I didn't do one of these. They're not pushing as many people anymore. So it might not be that much of a change in the algorithm. It might just be how the algorithm worked. I mean, you remember when I first started doing these, I was hitting these super hard, man. If you think back, when these vert streams started, it was not uncommon for me to do 2 of these long ones a day. And I think that helped a lot as well. I think that, like, these vert streams reward frequency and length. You ever feel like trans logic eats itself? In what way? Like, I know it's tough, but we'll have to define it. Like, you'll have to say, what is trans logic? And then what specifically do you mean about that definition, eating itself, right? The pine cone gag had me laughing harder than anything else. I know. The post-credits scene. Dude, I added that one. I got that idea because one of the things that you should know about this is that I cleaved super super hard to my script. The script was like the Bible for me. I didn't deviate. I didn't shoot a whole ton of stuff that wasn't directly in it, but that pine cone scene, I came up with that, right? Because I was like, you know, one thing I wished I would have done is like walked off and then crawled back into frame and sniffed the pine cone. You know how dogs will shit and then they turn around and sniff it. They come right back to it. Like a dog to its own feces, so does a fool return to his folly, right? But, you know, a cigarette, smoke. Yeah, let me go grab a joint. Let's do that. Okay.
They're not flags for bottom with them being this aggressive.
Heck no. Dude, it is so cute. My dad is visiting right now and he's inside calling everybody he knows. Watch my son's video and make sure that you hit the thumbs up on it because that helps him. He's on the phone with his wife right now going, baby, when you watch it, you gotta hit the thumbs up. Oh my goodness, man. I love my dad so much. He's the best. Anyway, cigarette, cheers. And anybody else? Has he watched himself? Oh yeah. I gotta be honest with you, he was the first human being outside of me and Amelia to see the full thing. He got the earliest screening of What the Fuck is Twilight. It is so cute. It's cute. Let's see, try it. How long do you wait to text back? Yeah. This is a tough, I'm a bad guy for this, okay? I'm not good at this. Fuck, go down here. I don't know where to put it. I'll put it, because it's like, I understand what they're doing with this, but it's a bit awkward. Okay. How long to wait to text back? Depends on who you are. Oh, start Q&A. Okay. There. I honestly don't know what this Q&A thing does, to be honest with you. What is this? Can you guys explain this to me? You guys can see the question, right? Yeah, I'm horrible at texting. That's the answer. Sometimes texts never get answered, unfortunately. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to end the Q&A now. Drag here. There, okay. Q&A gone. Whenever I get the chance. I mean, that's true if I know you, if you're a family member. Sometimes I'll even forget. Could only see it on my phone. Weird. YouTube's got some weird shit, man. They're rolling out some weird shit. I don't know. Got some other shit, too, in my life coming up that I'm just not looking forward to. I got to get my teeth fixed. So those of you, this is deep lore. Those of you that were watching the show, when I fell, so I passed out mid-show. I had a vasovagal syncope episode in mid-show, and I fell face first into the door to TJ's studio at completely breakneck speed. And I chipped my teeth in 3 ways. My front tooth here, this tooth here, and unfortunately, the one I hate the most, I cracked my bottom teeth here. You see that? And so now I have like a gap between my bottom teeth because they split. One of them kind of like snapped the long way. It's fucked. And I hate going to the dentist. And so I'm actually going to talk to the dentist if he talks about capping those teeth. I'm going to tell him, give me some fucking silver teeth. Yeah, in Louisiana, yeah. That's one of the saddest things. I told TJ and Scotty about it. It's like I've had this syncope for a while, you know, as an adult. And it's always way scarier for the people around me than it is for me. I'm out, so it's not all that scary to me. It's a little disorienting coming back out of it. Yeah, go watch the Twilight. It's the pinned comment here. Do you know what causes that? No. It's kind of sad. I know what exacerbates it, right? Stress, anxiety, low blood sugar. I'm not a diabetic. It's just if I haven't eaten in a while, I'm more likely to have a syncope episode. But those 3 things. So to give you a window into when that happened. So we were doing a show that was particularly tough for me. It was, you know, about psych wards and how people were mistreated in the early days of psychology and stuff. And it was not like a subject matter that I found particularly easy to cover. And so my nerves were kind of up watching some of the crazy shit, talking about lobotomies. And all of a sudden, I just started feeling really bad, really weird. Stood up to leave the room and get some air, you know, like walk around a little bit, do some breathing exercises. Stepped around the back of TJ and Scotty, looked at the door, and that's all I remember. From their perspective, I took 2 steps towards the door and then just fell like a tree, face first into the door, and then slid down it. And yeah, I broke my teeth. That's the worst fall I've ever taken in a syncope episode. But it's also the first time it's happened. It's also the first time it's happened, you know, with a bunch of people around me, and certainly live. So yeah, I went and had the whole thing. I went and had a CAT scan done. I went and had, or whatever they call it, the one they put you in the tube. Is that a cat? I don't know what it was. They put me in a tube, and they looked at my brains to make sure I didn't have any like tumors or anything. All that came back clean. I went to a certain, like, what do they call that? Like a brain doctor. What do they call those? I'm brain farting. A diagnostician that diagnoses like brain problems. And the diagnosis I was given was vasovagal syncope. And then he explained it to me. He's like, the exact causes of this are just not treatable. We don't know. Neurologist, thank you. You know, we know the triggers. We don't really know the cause. So, yeah. CT and MRI are both the two. Yeah, so I can't even tell you. This was over 20 years ago, so. I passed out from heat stroke once, put my head through a wall. At least I didn't hit my teeth. Dude, I went face fucking first into that wall, bro. The way that TJ describes it, he thought I was dead. He thought I just had a massive heart attack and just was gone. And so his big ass was the first one on the scene. Like, he jumped out of his chair, grabbed me, and like cradled me up, got me sitting up straight so I wasn't, you know, on my stomach. And he was smacking my face and shit and got me. Well, you know, you want to know what the fucked up thing is? Maybe I might have had a concussion. I just didn't have insurance at the time. Thanks, Frog Cannon. Glad you enjoyed it. Can't remember what happened after that. Did they drive you to the hospital? No. I came out of it, and I'm a little, you know, when you first come out, it's like coming out of a dream. I was like, oh man, I don't know what happened. And Scotty said, you fucking fell, Paul. You fell. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started coming out of it, you know, and he's like, do we need to call you an ambulance? Are you hurt? You know, are you okay? And I was like, don't call an ambulance yet. Give me a second, and I'll tell you guys what's what. So TJ helped me. Once I felt okay to stand, helped me over to the couch, and I told them that I had syncope, that it's something that doesn't happen very often, but that it doesn't mean anything like horribly health-wise. I asked them, please don't call the ambulance because I don't have, you know, I don't want to be buried in medical debt right now. I think I'm okay. I probably should. There's no probably about it. Anytime you lose consciousness, especially if you hit your head, go to the hospital, guys, okay? How long ago was this? Bro, you'd have to go look. Somebody could go look right now. The episode was going crazy equals DFF, or going insane equals DFF. It's one of those. Somebody could go look. It was years and years ago. It had to be like 7 years ago. I'm gonna take your advice, Paul, and every time I go to sleep, you know what I mean. If you go to sleep in the, like, as you're walking around, how's that? The history of going insane. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, 7 to 8 years, I think it was ago. Fucked up that we live in a society where calling an ambulance in a medical emergency is something we think twice about. Yeah. That's the way it is. But yeah, I should have gone in and had a whole check done. And I got to be quite frank with you, if I had gone in, I would have been diagnosed with a slew of shit. Because at that point, I was just by the seat of my pants, y'all. So they would have been like, oh, your blood pressure's fucking high. And they would have started me on a bunch of medications that I didn't get on. Well, you know, that was the catalyst. So me taking that fall was the catalyst for me to finally suck it up and find a fucking plan that I could afford, etc. So why did I just do the Trump? I just had the impulse to do this. Is that like stimming? I don't know. Is Trump stimming when he does this? The accordion squeezer is what I call it.
Trying to explain it.
It's so cute. My dad's in there being my biggest promoter.
Can you imagine telling 35-year-old Paul that this would be your day in 10 years?
No. I have that kind of fucking all the time because, you know me, time is wibbly with me. But as it gets longer ago, I have at least that perspective long time ago. And it blows my mind all the time sometimes. It's usually a meditative thought, like something that passes through me. It's just like, look how different you are than you ever would have guessed. There, because yeah, dude, you could have you could have put me in any situation at 34, 35 and gone, you know what I mean? Give me the wildest thing that you think you'd probably be doing in 10 years. And I never would have landed anywhere near this. It's crazy. I live a real weird life, but it's so fun. So that's cool. And I was juicing you up too. I was like, this was like an 80% Amelia endeavor. Let's be real. You were out there up all night busting your ass and had your fingers in every part of the production of this. You're my camera person, my script punch. You did everything. Like you are the producer of this thing, and it's like unsung hero with a little cameo. You know what I mean? Jesus, Blackie looks like a cat. He is so big. He's up there on that fence. That's just his. You see him? Oh, that ain't even Blackie. What is that? That's like that's like a brown squirrel. Who is that? Maybe is that Blackie? Maybe his fur comes in because like you know
they're like a winter coat.
They're getting their coat.
Yeah, maybe he looks a little less gray
or black. I don't know who that is.
I saw
over
that fluffy tortoise shell run through our yard earlier today.
Yeah, I see her all the time, or him. Shout out to Amelia for edits. Edits, script punch up.
I mean,
conceptual.
I know, having looked at it, 50 different ways, that there's some stuff that probably made it to the final edit that wasn't perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like you can't
It's not worth going through 8 different times to get every little thing.
No, and had we had less of a time constraint, maybe we would have spent a little more time with it. But ultimately, never let the perfect be the enemy of success and the good.
You want to get it out before it goes out in theaters tomorrow.
Yep. And I think there's going to be, because like there's going to be a big burst of interest in Twilight, and we're already positioned on a really good channel, fully monetized and everything, with a big Twilight retrospective. People look at it, they see that hour plus. There's a huge demand for that long form. So we've done the best that we can to set it up for success. And what happens to it now is out of our hands to a certain extent. But whatever it is, it's done. It's the start of something new.
And like this whole time, I was teaching myself how to do it along the way.
Well, what we both did was we taught ourselves a process that neither one of us could have envisioned at the beginning, because we took it one step at a time and we learned as we went how to do camera shit, what kind of shit we need to shoot outside versus inside. What are the challenges of shooting in broad daylight and low light? What kind of camera setup and mic setup works best for a big retrospective that's got tons of locational stuff. All that and a million other things that I'm not thinking of. We taught ourselves this whole process, and now we can look back at it critically and go like, where did we waste time? What was worth doing and what wasn't? What would have helped if we had done it, etc. You know what I mean? But totally fucking awesome though. I mean, from that perspective, it was a success before it even came out for me, because it taught both of us what we're going to be doing for the next X amount of years of our lives.
And I think we gotta be honest, if I had edited that one more time, I probably would have ripped my hair.
You could have. Yeah, no, I know.
It's been a month straight.
Yeah, a month straight of you burning the midnight oil up all night, You know what I mean? Learning how to do XYZ, going over this shit, pushing forward, teaching yourself how to do it as you go. It was insane, baby. Absolutely fucking insane, but worth it because now we know.
Yeah.
How far into the process did you know you were going to do all the character cosplays? Did you know you were going to shave for it? The shaving was contentious right up until the last minute, honestly, because we had bought, well, Amelia,
Banana powder.
yeah, Amelia looked into it. And apparently there are some drag queens that they want to keep their beard and still do the queen thing. And so they use this stuff called banana powder that turns, it's like
It's
a,
like cakier
yeah,
and kind of makes it just, not invisible, but like, less
yeah,
a contrast between the skin
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. And so we were going to try that. And we were up at the cabin we were staying at to film the Edward and the Jacob stuff. And we were actually planning on maybe doing the Bella stuff up there and just doing the banana powder. And it got down to the fucking wire, and I was just having so many misgivings. Oh, yeah. See you, Sigrat. I was having so many misgivings about the banana powder look because I was like, man, I just think it's going to be so much funnier if I just fucking go the full Monty. And so I just told you, I said, baby, I want to wait. I want to do this Bella thing up right. I want to go home, shave, do the full kind of drag experience, but, I wanted it to look jank and creepy, but you get it. And I'm so glad I did that. I think it was worth. But as far as the other part of that question, how much, I knew pretty early in the script that there was going to be some character stuff. My early first right through draft, so when it's not even finished yet, had these character bits. So I envisioned that from the very start. Well, maybe not from the very start, but as soon as I sat down and started pouring out my thoughts onto the page, it was a character piece.
I think it was right after we went to that cabin the first time. Not when we went to film, but like when you had seen it and you saw the potential in it.
Yeah.
We didn't even end up doing what you thought we were going to do there.
No.
But it's okay.
Well, yeah, it was that idea. You're probably right. That was the genesis of like, we could come up here, we could film stuff in the woods, and because of one of the things I think would have been cool, and I thought about it, but we ended up moving it indoors just for the consistency between it, because I wanted this like Bella transitional thing where she's sitting kind of in the same chair that I'm in, so it looks like we're switching back and forth. And but what would have been cool, I think, and maybe I'll use in future things, is filming out in nature when I can, because I used those Rode lav mics for everything, for audio consistency, because they're so crisp and good. I could set up something out here in nature and have that be, I could stand up and just lean on this rail and, you set up a thing and shoot me there. I mean, there's a ton of possibilities with it. And we learned how to do all of that, which is really cool. Pauella was a surprise, but not an unwelcome one. Yeah, well, it's meant to be.
Well, that's why the shave happens. Why you're being coy about it.
Yeah. I kind of blew the stack on it a little bit when I was doing my, when I went to that modern day debate. I kind of talked about it a little bit inadvisably, but, most people didn't see that.
Well, most people watching you on that modern day debate
didn't know me.
Yeah. They wouldn't have even known where to look for it.
And I didn't do a good job of like blasting it out to my people either. I didn't even really mention it much. So, is it true when it's said that you can't get anyone sober? Yeah, they have to do it themselves. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to decide. Like the smoking thing. The only reason we've been able to quit together is we each had our own separate reasons for quitting.
And we were both ready to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard to quit when you live with somebody that is smoking, and it is impossible to quit if you try and quit for somebody else. I know. what quitting for somebody else turns you into is a sneaky person,
Or a resentful person.
or a
which is
resentful,
worse.
or resentful and sneaky. Yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? And so there's no point. For what reason, other than being addicted to drugs, might a person be homeless? Oh, there's a kaleidoscope of reasons for that. I mean,
Like a lot of people are one emergency away from not being able
Yeah.
to make their rent.
yeah.
Like their
So-
car breaks down, they get in an accident, they get sick, or a family member dies.
Right. I mean, economic constraints always drive homelessness up. But in general, and I think that this is still true, most people that you find, not all, but most people that you find living on the streets have a drug problem, mental health problems, or both.
Well, there's a spectrum. I think the visible homeless are more towards the mental illness and the drug addiction side,
Yeah.
because a lot of homeless people aren't as visible because they just live in their car or they're couch surfing with friends.
Right.
There has to be some. Most people have someone, some family, some friends, and the people that are like just straight out on the street push those people away.
Or they just have nobody.
Or they have nobody.
Yeah.
So they're more likely, I think the visible homeless maybe are maybe a little bit more likely to have pushed those other resources away.
Yeah. But I'm all for reopening mental hospitals. I think that there needs to be a baseline of humane treatment at them. I don't want to go back to the, early 20th century kind of and late 19th century kind of shit where they're just locked in rooms and abused and all that shit. But if we can, spend billions and billions a year, but treat people that need to be up off the street with compassion, help them get off drugs, help them get treatment for their mental issues, save the ones that can be saved, you know what I mean, in terms of helping them get stable enough to be productive and live on their own again, and the ones that can't, give them a humane place to be.
Have you heard of the housing first approach?
No.
So with that, it's doing the house first and foremost, and then offering but not forcing treatment. So the approach of housing first is, you build the home and you put them in it, almost no strings attached. Because a lot of
That's just
people aren't
that's
in shelters is they don't like
That's
the
failure.
curfews, they don't like the not being able to having to get off the drugs to go in a shelter. and
that's
stuff.
failure, I think. I'm sorry, like
Housing
that,
first.
because I mean, I hate to say it, but it, and it's very sad to do. But if we were to go to Portland right now and drive around the areas where the homeless encampments are in the city and stuff, and we could play a really unempathetic game called Imagine That Person in a House that came out of nowhere. And I think you would probably come to the same conclusion that I have. A lot of the people, like you called them, the visible homeless, and it's hard to sort those from the invisible homeless because there's so much crossplay between those two communities of homeless. Yeah, I think that putting a lot of these people and just no strings attached, dropping them into a house that came out of nowhere, they're just going to flip it, they're going to destroy it, they're going to be right back on the street. You know what I mean? Because, like, what are you doing? Are you giving them a stipend with the house?
And the purpose is like to give that stability like shelters, but without the things that push some people away from shelters.
Well, there
without the
needs to be
forced
there needs to
treatment.
be a psychological exam before that, obviously, because some of these people are
Well, they
just
need different supports depending on, for sure.
sure. So housing first for people that are not so mentally ill. Like we're talking about the economic homeless. People that were just pushed out of a job, couldn't find one, had to hit the streets, and now they've just figured out how to do it, and they're living
They
in
don't have the
tents.
people to.
They don't have anybody to give them a leg up, and now that they're homeless, they can't find a job, and so, those people, there has to be a mass movement of talking to each one of these people, a big social net that goes out into the world, not to punish these people or kick them out of their tents, but to interview them and to kind of process them into a system that treats them humanely. Because certainly there are some people, maybe a lot, maybe way more than I think, that would do well in that housing first model.
Well, because I think the issue with the forced treatment is, at least how it exists now, it's a revolving door. Someone acts up on the street, they get scooped up by the cops, they get
That's because
tossed.
the mental hospitals don't exist anymore.
So you're saying, like, we'd have to change the laws again because they changed the holding rules alongside getting rid of the hospitals.
I think that there's we could do it with an eye towards humaneness, but there needs to be nice, functional, well-staffed, well-funded places for a lot of these people to go.
For people that maybe you think like a tiered system, like someone that's revolved through the door a few times, but the existing system has that offer.
Well, look at the history, and see the person that's gone in and out of these systems.
Or
that person
had support offered to them and it wasn't enough or something.
Or they've ditched out on it and gotten right back on drugs and gotten back into prostitution, get picked up again, and they're back in the system again. Certainly that would describe a lot of the homeless and indigent people, right? And so, you know what I mean? You could just start with that. Those are people that need somebody to keep them in treatment because they are just apt to skip out on the treatment. They're not capable of staying in it. They're too under the grip of either their mental illness or drugs or both.
Well, there's some things that result in the revolving door that's not just personal. Like someone could get prescribed a month's worth of psychiatric drugs when they get discharged and intend to do it again, but they just don't have the resources to get it again.
Yeah, well, we're talking about reopening these big places and building a bunch of new ones. If that person has a history of revolving door and they do it within this new system, then I think that's a good correlation that, like, look, we've done our best to create, because maybe it wasn't ideal back when they skipped out. Well, we've gotten as close to ideal as we can, and they're still skipping out. Next tier, you know what I mean? But there are going to be some people that skip that tier entirely, a lot. That game that I said, that unempathetic game of driving through Portland, some of these people are so flocked, fucked up, out, nodding out on their feet and shit. There's just, they need to skip directly to the forced treatment.
You think that if they had a roof over their head, they would just have other negative influences come in, just turn into a crack?
What would stop them? You said no strings attached, so
no
what?
Forced treatment.
Okay, but who's watching the house?
Yeah.
Who's watching who's watching the house?
Yeah. So that's the question of, like,
much
support.
How many people are going to be in that house in 6 months? What's going to be the quality of life for the person who that house was set up for? I think you'd find if you just did that across the board, most of them would be unlivable. They would be hives of the same kind of drug use you were hoping to get that person a leg up out of. So there has to be a way of sorting these people out. Right? I hate to say it that way, but they can't all, it's like children. You can't treat every child the same in education. It creates illiteracy and a failed education system. We have it now. The same thing comes for people that are indigent, people that need help in our society. They can't all be treated the same because every story is different. You walk out into a homeless encampment, you're going to meet the dude that just doesn't have a wife, parents are dead, never had kids, never had brothers or sisters, so he's just
really made friends.
He just tits up, has nobody to go to, can't find a job, can't afford to get himself a leg up, so he learns how to live as best he can. And that's the dude you're probably not going to see much stumbling around in the street. He's not going to be up in the system as much as any of those other people are going to be. There's got to be a way to sort those people from the people that need immediate involuntary treatment, because some of them maybe never hit the streets again. because they're just a danger to themselves. Some of them intensive inpatient drug treatment program and psychiatric treatment and monitoring and working with all the doctors they need to work for. And then when they get to a certain baseline, straight to the house, maybe give them a chance, right? Some people can go straight to the house right off the street. Some people need to go to the treatment facility first. Maybe some people go through the treatment facility and it's just too late, and they go to a housing facility where we make them as comfortable as possible. They've got orderlies, they get time outside, you know, they give them a little, whatever, artistic stimulation, let them paint, let them, whatever they can do, right?
So, like, the ideal prisons, like, that's probably the best model, honestly, is the prisons in, like, the countries that are civilized about it.
Right.
Where they have their own shit in their cell, and
because it's not
and,
punitive.
Yeah.
So I hate to use it as an example, the community that your grandma's living in. I'm not talking, but with less freedom, right? With no ability to get in a car and go drive, you know.
Maybe activities outside.
Yeah, and you could be visited by your family, and you have other people that are similar to you that you get to do activities with, and you do group with, and everybody gets together for the holidays. I'm not talking about a prison, but that is the danger, right? Is that these things, the funding gets cut and they turn into prisons just out of necessity. Oh, we don't have enough staff to supervise these excursions anymore, so those are over. Oh, we don't have enough staff to do the painting thing anymore, so those are over. And now you've just got insane people sitting alone in a cell all day with no interaction, and you're right back. And so it's fucked. Well, I don't know. I love talking about stuff, but I always hate where I land.
Yeah, well, you end up getting into the pessimistic. In the real world, something like that is so fragile.
I love talking about it because I know it would be easy. Yeah. Like, easy being like, we could just scalp like we talked about, like 0.5% on every fucking capital gains thing. Every transaction on Wall Street gets 0.5%, goes right in the kitty. That's all it would take to do what I was talking about functionally. But how fragile is something like that? How many administrations would it take to undermine it and gut it? And then what does it mean for the lives of those people who you were trying to help?
Well, I think there's the trickiness too with like when those were robustly funded and plentiful. It was just a smaller population, period.
Sure.
It has exponentially grown in the size of investment that would be needed.
Right. Well, and also you have to understand too, there was an attempt at being humane, but there was not.
There wasn't enough research.
They didn't even have the diagnostics. They didn't even know the diversity of mental illness and different treatment options. They didn't have access to the pharmacology. So, like, what were they to do at a certain extent? But
do you think that's why people agreed more about it for as long as they did? Like, the general public.
Yeah. I mean, it's very inhumane, but they were trying to be humane. They just didn't understand. Well, and then there were just some sadistic or underfunded places that were just on the face of them inhumane. There was a woman that worked it out to get committed to Bellevue, or one of these big insane asylums in New York, and we covered it on an old show. But and she was assimilated. She was assimilated into the system, and it just drove her insane. And she saw just the most inhumane human deprivation and abuse. And so, that's why the insane asylums were closed, because people exposed just how. Well, you could even watch that show, American Horror Story Asylum. Yeah.
There's roots of real things that happened in there. They're trying to reflect some real things.
A lot of those things, as a dude that's covered it, one of the things, a lot of those things I was able to point out, that happened. Yeah, they used to do this. The shock therapy, the
hot
sensory
tubs.
deprivation, the forced hot showers and hot tubs, the sweating, the not giving you food, the forced feeding tube, the dopey drugs where you just sit all day just foaming at the mouth. Yeah. All that shit that's depicted in that, maybe not all of it, obviously, there's some crazy shit.
Yeah, there's
But we're
no
talking about
aliens.
how, if you look at how the orderlies treat the patients outside of the alien project, the general vibe of the psychiatric institution is actually pointing towards that late 20th century, late 18th, late 19th, early 20th century shit here in America. Thank you, Femboy. Absolutely loved What the Fuck is Twilight. Totally worth the wait. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I promise we got it out as fast as we reasonably could, not knowing what the fuck we were doing at the start.
No, we had to. The whole thing was a crazy endeavor that maybe we like inadvisably went into, but we taught ourselves such a skill set now that there's just no point not to use it, and it won't be as hard. We know what we got to do. We know what tech we need. We know how to process it. We know exactly what we shouldn't do, etc. So. Have you heard about the forced labor homelessness camp in Utah? A good way to replace all the exploitable labor they're deporting. I have not heard about this, but I will look into it. That sounds horrible and dystopian and terrible. Dude, I think earlier...
with immigration, I'd say, like, the fucking bitching, the fear-mongering they do, like, Social Security's gonna run out of money, Social Security's gonna run out of money. If you added every working illegal immigrant and just naturalized them and made them all pay into Social Security, that thing would be gone.
That was the thought process behind the Reagan naturalization, was to bolster Social Security by making all of these people citizens, bringing them under the tax umbrella, the whole nine. Like, it was an economic decision. But whatever, make the economic decision. If you can't be humane, then make the economic decision. Yeah, be a capitalist, dumb fuck. How much are they spending raiding these people and getting them out of here? You know how many of them are just going to boomerang right back? Like, we've learned that. That wall hasn't kept a single person out. There are multiple ways for somebody to get shipped to their country, and a couple of months later, they're right back in a different state doing exactly what they were doing, and you got to have an ICE raid on them. It's just pointless waste of money. It's a strong man show of force. That's what it is.
I guess
and
I
of
think
course,
that it's a deterrent because it's like, we're going to treat you so cruelly that's why you won't come.
Well, no. Here's the thing. They know. They don't even think that. They know for a fucking fact, because this isn't the first time we brutalized Hispanics and immigrants in this country. They know for an absolute fact, in the same way they know for a fact that the death penalty doesn't deter crime, that them being fucking fascist with these immigrant communities doesn't deter them from coming. You know why? Because things are so desperate where they're from
that it's worth the chance.
That it's worth the gamble. Whatever. They're alive. ICE raid happens. They're gaffled up. They get dumped in Guadalajara or whatever the fuck. Shipped back to Honduras. I don't know where they're going. As long as, some of these motherfuckers are disappearing into camps that we have no accountability for. But the vast majority of them are just being dumped in their country of origin. On the American taxpayer. And then we know. Those people are, what do you think? They're not going to be desperate to feed their families? They're going to stop trying? Like, that's not how people work. So it's just pointless. Naturalize these motherfuckers. Every last one. Make them American citizens like that.
The ones that are criminals that they fearmonger about, maybe arrest less existing citizens for stupid shit. You'd have room for those few immigrants that are causing trouble.
And there are people that go like, well, Paul, where are all of this tidal wave of people gonna go? And my answer is, they're already here. What do you mean, where are they gonna go?
Well, like the argument of like, well, you wouldn't let them into your house. They're not asking to go in your house. There's never been a single illegal immigrant that's like, let me in.
And they wouldn't.
Find it.
They wouldn't. They're not here to impose. They're here to work and send money back to their families. So if you naturalize people, not only do we have the room for the people that are already here, we have the room for their families. There's no way we should split up dad who's up here working from mom. Let them bring their families. And here's why. You tell me we don't have the room, we don't have the resources, right? I'll take you some pictures. Here in a couple of days, I'll be on a plane. We're going to go over some quote-unquote flyover states. And I'm going to show you the big empty. There's plenty of room and plenty of resources in this country for us to absorb another population of industrious immigrants.
Well, like, even with, like, water scarcity in some areas of the country, it's because they're retarded. They had no guardrails against people watering lawns, growing water-intensive crops for cows to eat.
Look at. I have an example. You know, I understand anecdotes are not always the best, but I come from an area that's functionally 80% Hispanic if you count all of the non-census taking migrant folk.
And, you know, the edges of the county and all that,
And, ouch. Sorry, my neck is fucked. If you look at the generational outcropping, because they call it like anchor babies, but if somebody's born here, they're an American citizen. Those children are here. If you look at the generational breakdown, just in my lifetime, you have people on the extreme end of the poverty spectrum, don't speak English, they're migrant, they're here for a while, and they go back, and they take money, and they come back, and they make money, and then they take money back to their family, right? And then you've got people whose parents came and did that, but now they own businesses. Now they're bona fide, you know, didn't need to be naturalized at all because they were born here, American citizens, and they own businesses. Crazy businesses. If you go to the place that I'm from, and you can back me up on this because you lived there, it's you know, Hispanic owned business, Hispanic run business, Hispanic people completely starting this whole new restaurant, store, endeavor. It's Hispanics in government, right? All of the city council, it's just representative of the giant Hispanic population. You know what I mean? And so the argument against naturalizing these people just falls apart at the seams because every one of those businesses, every one of those public servants serves the greater good in this country. So every time this country has absorbed a desperate, hungry population of immigrants, those immigrants have done nothing but enrich this place. And that is something that we need to hear people talking about again because it's just the fucking truth.
Yeah, it's like they
It's
do
that
not
it's that
show
meme
up for handouts from people. They 99% of them don't access the services like Medicaid, Social Security, or whatever. But of course, there's going to be some people that break the law because there's always someone that breaks the law. But
have you seen that meme where there's like a white construction worker sitting on one end of the table and he's got a donut? And then there's a Mexican guy sitting there with no donut. And then in the background, there's a mountain of donuts with a rich guy at the top of it going like, hey, that immigrant wants to take your donut, man. That's what's going on. It's like, let's blame the people that enrich this country. Let's blame people that are actually farther down the totem pole, but you could be there any second than you. Let's blame the people that have no shot at affecting anything in this country. And let's not blame the robber barons that are picking your pocket. Makes no sense to me, but the fuck do I know? Have you ever seen a movie or a short video that made you emotional? Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It doesn't happen to me often, but sometimes I will just blubber at a movie. The one that just is guaranteed. I've only watched it once and I'll never watch it again. Fuck. God damn it. can't remember the name of it. Shit. It's a documentary, and it's just horrible. I mean, not horrible. It's a great documentary, but it's just so sad. So, Dear Zachary. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Shit is wild. Are you in the market for a horror novel wreck? You weren't meant to be human. I'll check it out. I will check it out. I am going to end this, though, because I've got a little less than an hour before onion nuggets. So,
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
I was thinking about making some burgers. Do you think you'd want one with some tots or something, or no? Are you burped out?
no, I'm fine. I just don't think I could eat just yet.
Okay, so I'll just do it for your dad and me, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll try to lay down, and you can do a pizza later or something.
No, that'd be great. Thank you, baby. I love you. So, yeah, I gotta go.